Good morning. Good morning. Morning. Good morning. One guy. Welcome. Call the second section to order and declare it closed section. I call our worthy state chaplain, Father Ed Gibney, to lead us in the prayer for the canonization for the Blessed Michael Gibney, which is found on page 4 of the convention. If you don't know it by now, please rise.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God our Father, protector of the poor and defender of the widow and orphan, you called your priest, Blessed Michael McGivney, to be an apostle of Christian family life and to lead the young to the generous service of their neighbor. Through the example of his life and virtue, may we follow your Son, Jesus Christ, more closely, fulfilling his commandment of charity and building up his body, which is the church. Let the inspiration of your servant prompt us to greater confidence in your love, so that we may continue his work of caring for the needy and the outcast. We humbly ask that you glorify Blessed Michael McGivney on earth according to the design of your holy will. Through his intercession, grant the favor we now present. Today we ask for the success of our convention this week. Through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Father Ed. Worthy State Warden, do you vouch that all present are in possession of a current membership card?
Worthy State Deputy Joe, I vouch that everybody present here have the membership card.
Thank you. Call on our state worthy state membership director, Dan Devers, rise and lead us in the singing of Old Canada. Everyone, please rise.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all our sons shall men, with glowing hearts we seek Christ, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land, glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you. Mr. Bryan, I ask you to open the second section of the prayer.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, the Spirit of the Son, and the Spirit. Lord, give us grace to truly hear the Holy Spirit spoken through with others here in this assembly. Let me also listen and interpret it as the Mother of God who wants to. Amen. Spirit of the Spirit, move of our Son, Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Brian. I ask our worthy state ward to come forward and report on the protocol of this meeting.
I remind the attending delegates that this is a meeting of the State Council and that all protocol and ceremonies of a council meeting are in effect. Before addressing the podium, you are expected to gain the attention of the state deputy, saluting him and getting permission to speak. We also ask that all delegates leaving the meeting, other than to go to the washroom, salute the state deputy upon leaving or returning to the meeting. These are the rules of our council meetings, which we will follow during this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you for the state word right now. Good morning, brothers.
Morning.
Welcome to the second session of the 100th annual meeting of the Saskatchewan Knights of Columbus. We have a busy day, so I'm going to try to be focused. We can all be focused on the work at hand and assist in allowing the proceedings to move smoothly. I'd like to, I guess, begin by making some introductions. Our worthy state chaplain, Father Ed Gibney, past state deputy. Our worthy associate state chaplain, His Excellency Bishop Brian Bateman. Recognize Bishop Stephen Hero Fitzalbert. We have Father Tony Dizzy with the foundation. I completely apologize. I really have another piece with this. I can't remember your name. I'm sorry. Finn? Father Finn. Thank you. And I know throughout the day we'll have Inspector Archbishop Don Mullen, and remotely we're going to have Archbishop Mark Shadlin joining us. I'm not sure if Father Peter or others will be joining us. So if anybody sees them, please point them out. We'd like to recognize our Supreme Representative, Brother Ryan DeHaan, from British Columbia Regional Growth Director. Worthy State Deputy from Manitoba, Mike McDougall. State Deputy and Worthy District Master, Sir Chris Pechersky. Worthy State Secretary, Brother Larry Packett. Worthy State Treasurer, Brother Marty Marquez Nova. Brother Greg Desort. State Ward, Nick George. Brother Mark Lewis. President of the Chair of Saskatchewan Charitable Foundation, Brother Harvey Grant. We recognize all of our, we have a few past state deputies with us, and myself around the corner. So please recognize our worthy past deputies. Also, thanks to our really district deputies and our really program directors, really chairman who were able to join us. And I know later tonight, President Mark will be welcoming your field agents, but also want to welcome our field agents here this morning as well. So thank you for being here. There's a quick wave. This is probably the last time I pay attention. Unintentional or is not intentional. To our brother knights who are joining us via Zoom, I want to recognize you. I know they did by virtual stuff. We know you're there and we wish you were here, but thank you for being with us via Zoom. This time I'd like to ask our Worthy State Chaplain to, you want to say just a couple words? Sure.
Deputy, thank you very much. I just wanted to say good morning to everyone that I haven't talked to already this morning, and to say how wonderful it is to be back with everyone again, face to face. You know, we do our best in the difficulties we've had, but this is fraternity, and so it is important for us to try our best to come together. And as things get better, we will get back to how we used to have things, I'm sure. Just wanted to mention a couple dates, a few things that are coming up from the chaplain side of things. Next Saturday, and these are your chapel council chaplains have received an email, hopefully, that there is going to be a Zoom meeting, a chaplain Zoom meeting for the province. That's next Saturday, April 30th at 10 a.m. And so State Deputy and myself will have a few words trying to get the councils a little more active through the good works of the chaplain, working closer together. So we'll spend a little time with them and let them understand maybe a bit better what Knights of Columbus are trying to do for them. And then they may be coming to you with a better idea of what you can do for them as well. So we can work on improving our churches and getting things going again through that. So that will be next Saturday. Sports Day has been mentioned. That's what the date on that is the 18th of July. And so keep that in mind as well. I'm sure there will be something in your package. I didn't take a look, but I assume there is something there. But there will be emails going out reminding you of that as well. So great to be able to get back together with that as well. And finally, we're hoping that this coming week was going to be an opportunity to have a Guadalupe Festival here in Saskatchewan. Of course, with COVID and Monsignor Chavez not being able to get out of Mexico, that didn't happen. So we will be looking to try to do that in conjunction with next year's convention, and including that Guadalupe Festival. So again, we are continuing to try to have a greater spiritual aspect with our convention and with all that we do as Knights. So if you can pick up on that and try to do that within your own parishes as well, that is what we want. So thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time, and wish you the best for the convention.
All of His Excellency, Associate State Chaplain Bishop Brian Foster.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy. The Supreme Representative, Ryan Hahn, just gave me last night my little personal prayer book, Jesus, and you can put your name in it, etc. It's got a lot of gems in there, and I'm going to point to one, limit my remarks to one. Often in a school, I'll go and talk in an assembly, and I'll ask all the students, all the children in elementary school, how often do you change oil in your car? Cruising altitude, 35,000 feet, way over their head. I said, don't worry about it. You've got teachers. That's what teachers are for. They can answer that question for you. And so I asked the teachers. I mean, after a little chat, I said, who in their right mind would change oil maybe once a year?
That's not good for an engine. Absolutely not. But as maybe weak as we are as Catholics at times, so many probably take better care of their engine than their soul. And so I encourage them to put a sticker right next to the change oil sticker on your window. Next confession. A next confession sticker. Now that might be every 3 months, but this beautifully suggests every month. It's got a calendar for you. And how many times did you go to confession? Well, maybe we don't have time, or the car's going, or I don't make other people wait, or whatever. We come up with 1,000 excuses. So plan it. Put it in the thing. Take a time out of your day. Go make arrangements. Phone the priest if you have to, or whatever. Make sure that you know it's going to be offered from this time to this time at such and such a church or your own parish, and plan for your soul's, reparation, cleaning, whatever you want to call it. Most of all, I mean, the book goes way beyond. It's like the grace that's offered you, that's offered you to fight temptation from the sacrament of confession is abundant. Take better care of your souls than your engines.
Did I say that at the inspirational Larissa weekend? I said. Nobody believed me when he said it. This time I'd just like to call forward His Excellency Bishop Stephen, just to give a couple words.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Someone remarked this morning I look smaller in person than in my pictures. They thought I was taller, so I have to adjust the microphone. Good morning. I'm very, very pleased to be with you this weekend, and it's an opportunity for me, just still new on the scene, to start to get to know very fine gentlemen. I want to thank you for your tremendous hospitality this weekend. And last night was a very beautiful opening, a long and intense and beautiful opening to the convention. And one of the things that impressed me, we know at Knights of Columbus meetings, special meetings, is awards are given out. And I know that we haven't been able to give out awards here for a few years now. And so we didn't get through them all. We had to table that, to another time today. And it struck me how significant that is. Not that, as Catholics, we encounter the Lord through signs, and these special awards, these objects that are given to the different members of the councils, or different councils, are very significant because it symbolizes a lot, And as all those plaques were there and given out, and then there was still more to be given out. It's just, for me, it was very significant that each of those objects really represents so much of your hearts and minds, your hours, gifts, sacrifices of your families, your time, your money, all those efforts for the Lord and for our community, and how impressive that was. And I want to thank you for responding to the Lord continually as in your vocations as Catholic men, Catholic fathers, Knights of Columbus, and really cherish those signs of recognition, those objects in your councils, in your families, because it is really a great sign of what the Lord is doing. And let Him act in you, and His kingdom will come. Viva Jesus. Viva Jesus.
It's a great pleasure to introduce our supreme guest. He'll be formally introduced this evening, but please join me in welcoming our supreme guest, Regional Growth Director for Western Canada, Brother Ryan Dawn.
Thank you, Worthy State Deputy. Worthy State Deputy Joe Riffle, worthy State Chaplain, Most Reverend Ed Gibney. Our Most Reverend Mark Hagelin, the host diocese bishop. Most Reverend Father Donald Bolin, Most Reverend Father Ryan Bacon, Most Reverend Father Stephen Hero, Fathers, Reverend Fathers, worthy General Agent Mark Lewins, all field agents, past state deputies, all state executives and state team, district deputies, council delegates, and also to our special ladies in their program and state guests all. It is my distinct honor to afford the opportunity to say a few words at the opening of this convention, and a milestone convention at that, a 100-year anniversary as of this June 2023. Now, that is really actually June 3rd, 2023, from the conception of 1923 of Saskatchewan State. So congratulations, brothers all, that this is an accomplishment of which you can truly be proud of. Now, as I was thinking about the state convention theme, no greater love than to serve, it brings me to a recent experience of Holy Week, the beginning of the Triduum. This was our Lord's call to action on Holy Thursday when he washed the feet of his disciples. Aren't we all called to be disciples? And this call to action continues to ring true for us as knights today. After 2 years of limited connection to our parish and its communities, we are making our way back to the church. However, across the whole country, many churches are not seeing full return of all their parishioners. This is yet another unexpected effect of the pandemic or the endemic in our communities. However, brothers, an opportunity here exists to strengthen our brotherhood in this time of hardship. Let's work with our brother knights to choose one simple program to run in our church and rebuild that community connection. I do believe that your programs are what tell the story and passion of your councils, as well as every brother knight here and around the entire world. Now, with this is one way that we can show no greater love than to serve in our community. Our programs are an expression of who we are as knights. It strengthens our brotherhood through fraternity, but can also grow it with our invitation of new men, unifying everyone and take part in those charitable programs and activities that you all so love. This is a call, brothers. I invite you to answer it with me and every man around this entire order. We also have an incredible aspect here of our field agents who work tirelessly. We often don't see a lot of them in our programs, but we need to reach out. Our agents work diligently and hard at all times. A lot of people think, it's fraternalism and agency. No, it's unity and fraternity with these brothers. We need to reach out to them because they're truly meant to be here for you and your entire family. That is your call. Invite men to be introduced to them and the passionate programs that you run. In closing, I think it is befitting that we are here to celebrate the Saskatchewan 100th year anniversary during the octave of Easter. This is the most joyous time in our liturgical year. And so as we enter this convention to complete the Knights of Columbus business, let us also revel in the joy in being together in person to celebrate our risen Lord. He is risen. Hallelujah. Viva Jesus.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our jurisdiction's neighbor and guests. Please join me in welcoming our Worthy State Deputy of Manitoba, Brother Mike McDougall.
Worthy State Deputy, Your Excellencies, Reverend Fathers, brothers in Christ. I have a very strong connection to Saskatchewan. I come here for the last 20 years, probably every month. So I enjoy coming here, met a lot of nice people. The first time I met Joe wasn't at a Supreme convention, wasn't at a Supreme event because of COVID. The first time I met Joe in person was last year at Hudson's down the 21st. And we periodically get together for a Coca-Cola and we talk about, you know, the world's problems and what we can do to help the Knights, and we share ideas back and forth. Because our jurisdictions are very similar, of course. And the makeup of our membership, you know, we're strong in agriculture, we have a lot of the same properties or characteristics. So one of my goals this year, as state deputy for Manitoba, was to beat Saskatchewan as far as percentage of membership. That was a pretty fair and reasonable goal. Because last year in Manitoba, I was state secretary. We did. So I said, I want to continue that. And you may or may not know this, but Saskatchewan has spoken us this year. And you know, my hat's off to everyone. That I know you have a strong membership team, district deputies, everyone works together cohesively as a team. And your members are showing it. And I see it every day, and I, you know, grind my teeth and say, why? And I was thinking though, like, you know, a guy from Winnipeg losing to Saskatchewan, your membership team is great. But then I thought, maybe your riders could take a lesson from the membership team. Guys, I had to throw that. You know that. So, all kidding aside, Lady Bonnie and myself, we appreciate the hospitality. I've had this date circled on my calendar for a while. And I actually missed 2 Manitoba state events to come in case I've wanted to. I've never been to a state convention since 2014 in my last year as district deputy. And I took a little time away from the state and focused on things in my parish. And I've only been on the state board. I was appointed state secretary in September of last year. So I didn't go through the normal channels that everyone does for your 2 years as an award and advocate treasurer. I kind of jumped in the middle of a COVID year. So not a lot of experience. And that's another reason why I lean on Joe is that he's been involved in the Knights here for 100 years, whatever he tells me. So this year, of course, in a COVID year, we've had a lot of struggles as well. But it's nice to come out and see and share and see smiling faces. You know, I wouldn't trade this weekend for the world, but I do, because, you know, this is what we miss. I hate Zoom meetings, no offense to anyone on Zoom, but my day job, we do lots of this. We've been doing lots of this. This is the new normal to meet. And it's powerful. 20 years ago, we wouldn't have this. You know, so it is a powerful tool, but this is what I miss, the face-to-face camaraderie, the fraternity, you know, the laughs and that stuff. So on behalf of Lady Bonnie and myself, again, I want to thank you for your hospitality, and please do thank you, Joe, for inviting us. So, be back, Jesus. Thank you.
Next, we're going to take a 12-second pause here because we're going to welcome Archbishop Mary Chapman from the POP. We just have to do a little bit of wiring connection here so we can all hear him give his address. So just give us 30 seconds and Glenn will conclude you with. That's not. That's not him. No. There he is. You want to try talking?
I can sure do that. I'm pretty good at talking, so I'll practice. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So happy Easter season to all our brother Knights. Thank you for allowing me to address you through Zoom. I know it's not as good. And I'll just point out, just because I'm in Manitoba right now, I'm still bleeding green. Go Riders. So that's very much there. I just want to appreciate that I have synod gatherings and we're catching up on confirmation, so I couldn't be with you physically today. I wanted to just briefly share, there's been a lot of good reflections. I think about the importance of doubt. And so we have that gospel this tomorrow of the Thomas. And I was just reflecting on how too much certitude is not a great thing. I remember there was an old priest who he just had so much black and white, so certain about so many things that some of the younger priests, maybe with a little lack of charity, would quip, he has the answer to every question that no one's asking. And I think we know that as we get older, our faith and our approach to life needs to have a bit more nuance. And so I think doubt has a significant role to play in that. Doubt gets a bad rep. As soon as we have doubts, we're thinking, oh, I lack faith, or I'm not a strong enough Catholic, or those kind of things. But that's not true. I think that doubt is often the vehicle by which our faith really does mature. And that's often where we make a significant step forward in that uncomfortable place of doubt. Rachel Held Evans writes that there's an important distinction between doubting God and doubting what we believe of God. And that doubt of what we believe of God, I think, is how we mature in our real understanding of who God is and our relationship with him and with our people. And so I just invite you to sort of embrace that uncomfortable position of doubt. So one of the examples is all our residential school stories. Our struggle with Every Child Matters has created a lot of doubt. I think God can use that, and that it can be a blessing for our church to mature, to grow, and to be more connected to the real God. One of the images we have, instead of getting defensive, trying to defend the church, the image a young person shared was, it's like if you're living with somebody and they come to you and they tell you how you have hurt them. Now, maybe some of it wasn't even intentional. Maybe some of it you weren't even aware of, but you still listen to hear how they experienced things that hurt them. And I think that's still the stance that we're in many ways as a church. And so to maybe let some of that doubt be there, to ask God to help us not to question his presence or who he is, but our understanding of him, and to allow something new in that understanding to come to us. So blessings on your convention. Wish I could be there in person on good Saskatchewan soil, but may God bless you in all your reflections and work.
Thank you very much, Archbishop Murray. It's wonderful to have you join with us this weekend. I call upon Worthy Sir Knight Chris Brenzarski to bring greetings on behalf of the 4th Division.
Your Excellencies, worthy state chaplains, and representative, worthy brother knights. On behalf of the 1,280 4th degree Knights in the District of Saskatchewan, as well as the Supreme Pastor Dennis Stoddard and Vice Supreme Pastor Anthony Sombrellas, this time in the Fraser Province, I bring greetings to all delegates and guests attending the 100th Saskatchewan Knights of Columbus Convention. Congratulations on the momentous milestone of celebrating the 100th State Convention. For 100 years at each convention, the Knights of Saskatchewan have gathered to celebrate our successes and accomplishments, to renew fraternity friendships, and to serve the needs of our order, our church, through the 4 guiding principles of our order and through our convention theme, no greater love than to serve. This theme is relevant today as it was 100 years ago. All Knights, especially 4th degree members, are reminded of the importance of the principle of patriotism for our country, for our church, and for our faith. Pope Leo XIII, in his encyclical Sapientiae Christianae, Christians as citizens, set forth patriotism as a moral obligation based on natural law. If, I suppose, the natural law gives us give the best of our affection and of our devotedness to our native land, so that the good citizen does not hesitate to pay debt for his country, much more is it the duty of Christians to be similarly affected to the church. I invite each one of you who is not a fourth degree member to join us to become a fourth degree member. And all those fourth degree members to recruit one brother knight to join us before the end of June. There is a scheduled exemplification in Regina on April 30th. We also have a virtual exemplification scheduled on June 9th. So if you know somebody who's interested, find somebody up, hold of me or any of the marshals or your district deputy. There'll also be a brochure that will be handed out to each one of you. When you get one, make sure you give it to someone who can sign up, talk to them, will support the green, and then ask them to join us. And our final step in the journey tonight, and that of the principle of patriotism, especially to our church that needs it now more than ever before. Be your presence.
It's my pleasure to introduce to you a good friend and a dedicated knight with the General Agent Mark Rules.
Worthy State Deputy Joe, Your Excellencies and Brother Knights. It's truly an honor and a privilege for me to bring greetings on behalf of the Saskatchewan Agency Department, especially on this special occasion, 100th State Convention of the Knights of Saskatchewan. Once again, this is a wonderful opportunity to renew our friendships, renew our acquaintances, and renew our brotherhood. It goes without saying that the past 2 years have been a huge challenge for everyone, and in some ways it feels like we've been in a time warp. Nevertheless, we've all persevered to make it back to where we are today. And that's not to say that we have not endured setbacks along the way. In fact, our agency has not been immune to it. Last year, we lost 3 agents, including 1 to death. Our former pontiff, St. John Paul II, used to talk about a new springtime in the church. And I believe it was a response to what he was seeing, what was happening in the world in our church at that time. And he saw the challenges and the decline of faith among many, but that did not discourage him about the future. The great Pope also saw the seeds of a new beginning. He saw the sprouts of strong faith among young people at many World Youth Day events. And he remembered his own past. John Paul II lived through the tyranny of Nazi occupation during World War II and the terrible oppression of communism in the years following the war. But did that deter him in his faith and his hope for the future? As we know, it certainly did not. Indeed, if we go back even further to the origins of the Knights of Columbus, our dear founder, Blessed Michael McGiffey, faced an assortment of incredible challenges. And as a son of Irish immigrants, he knew about the reality of harsh discrimination against Catholic immigrants, shut out of the mainstream of society. And he was an eyewitness to so many young men leaving the church to join secret societies. He was an eyewitness to the impoverishment of Catholic families left behind after the premature demise of breadwinner. And he lived through a pandemic of the Russian flu at that time. So I've mentioned 2 different time periods in the past, some similar to the challenges that we face today, and some not. Of course, we are all aware of the many difficulties that we face today. Through the will of God and the sacrifice of our Lord Jesus, we have been given the church to equip us with the grace we need to meet the challenges of our times head on. Thankfully, through the vision of Blessed Michael McGiffey, we have the order as an instrument to help our people spiritually and financially. Gentlemen, we have what Catholic men and their families need and want. As been mentioned already, the convention theme is so appropriate. No greater love than to serve. Whether it is our fraternal service or insurance protection, that is what we offer at the Knights of Columbus. Father McGivney wanted an organization that was strong and rooted in the Catholic faith. He wanted an organization that kept men from straying from the church. And at the same time, he wanted an organization to put that faith into action. And he most certainly wanted to be able to protect Catholic families financially. And like our Lord Jesus, Blessed McGivney wanted us to be united as one. So being united is very integral to the Order's insurance program. Firstly, by uniting our participation in the Knights of Columbus Insurance, we help ensure the strength of our organization financially. The Order continues to be not only the premier Catholic life insurer, but one of the biggest and best life insurers in North America. In other words, the more members and families who participate, the better. We continue to earn superior ratings from AM Best, which is A+ superior, and Standard & Poor's, AA+. By the way, we are only one of 6 companies to receive this most highly rated designation. In addition, Knights of Columbus has been named to the Forbes America's Best Insurance 2022 list. None of this came by accident. Through good times and bad, our organization has been managed with strong leadership and financial prudence in order to protect the hard-earned money of our membership and safeguard our future. Secondly, Knights of Columbus Insurance is grounded in our common beliefs and our Catholic faith. The Order is unlike any other insurance company in that we do things differently because both our faith and our members demand it. We call it the Catholic difference. We invest morally by not investing in companies that deal in ventures contrary to Catholic teaching. More importantly, we support the church through generous programs such as providing more than $1.2 million in scholarships to seminarians, committing $200,000 to the Vatican Symposium on the Priesthood, which will be hosted by our brother knight from Canada, Cardinal Mark Roulette, who now serves as the prefect of the Congregation for Bishops, devoting more than $4.4 million to help support persecuted Christians in the Middle East. We sent funds to remote First Nations villages here in Canada. And as you heard last night, most recently, several $million for those in need in Ukraine. So yes, your insurance dollars contribute to the support of our communities and the needies. Through our insurance program, we have raised millions of dollars for our Christian Refugee Relief Fund, supplied tens of thousands of wheelchairs for handicapped individuals throughout the world, and have provided millions of dollars in disaster relief around the world. We annually support Catholic media like EWTN and Salt and Light Television. My brothers, the Order is able to do all of these things because of our strong and stable insurance program. Finally, we show that we are united by being there for our brother knights and their families when they need us most. Last year, Knights of Columbus paid out more than $524 million in death benefits, of which approximately $35 million was related to COVID. And despite many challenges, 2021 was a record year for premium brought into the Order. Also, $7.4 billion in new life insurance was issued, which brings the amount in force to over $119 billion, as our Supreme Knight mentioned last night. Our assets now total over $29 billion. We continue to be a Fortune 1000 company. I'm very pleased to announce that the Saskatchewan Agency issued over $74 million of new life insurance last year and finished number 20 out of 83 agencies in North America. In Saskatchewan, we should be proud that we are the 4th largest jurisdiction in Canada for insurance in force, and 2nd in the entire Order for insurance in force per capita. So we're 2nd only to Alberta in the entire company. Currently, there are 8 field agents on staff, and some attaining outstanding achievement in various categories last year. And those agents will be recognized this evening at our banquet. I will introduce our agency staff at that time and present the Agent of the Year award. So far this fraternal year, there have been 3 agency-sponsored fraternal benefit events. And some of you have asked me about that this weekend already. We plan to host 2 more, one in May and one in June, before the end of the fraternal year. So stay tuned for the details. On behalf of the agency, thank you to all of the membership for your tremendous support of our insurance program. Support from district deputies, grand knights, council officers, and state board members goes a long way in helping open the door for our hardworking agents. Congratulations to you on a successful fraternal year. And my best wishes in the outstanding work that you do for our great organization. Viva Jesus.
My pleasure to introduce to you another good friend and dedicated knight, President and CEO of the Saskatchewan Charitable Foundation, Brother Harvey Gratitude. Very much, State Deputy Joe, Your Excellencies, Reverend Fathers, honored head table guests, my brother knights. It is indeed my pleasure and privilege to bring greetings today on behalf of the Saskatchewan Knights of Columbus Charitable Foundation. It is great to once again meet in person, but it's also great to have the opportunity to be able to meet with those members via virtual that are unable to be here this weekend. As you celebrate the 100th anniversary of Knights of Columbus here in Saskatchewan, as has been said by many last evening, this is our opportunity to look back and be proud of our accomplishments, but it's also an opportunity for us this weekend to look forward and recognize the opportunities that we can make as Knights of Columbus in improving and working together with our parishes and our communities in improving the Catholic life and Catholic values, and proving that Catholic values are a great part of our future. So our annual meeting today is at 12:45. I want to take this opportunity to invite everyone here to join us for our annual meeting at that time, and have a wonderful weekend. Viva Jesus. Thank you. This time, I'd like to call on Brother Abel Assad, Chairman of this year's Convention Organizing Committee, to come forward and offer greetings and any sharing messages you may have.
Good morning, Brother Knights.
Good morning.
This one's new to me. I didn't know I was supposed to say anything. There is a coffee station just outside. It's an all-day coffee, keep you awake. Just for protocol for this morning, or sorry, for lunchtime, we will be leaving the hall, going to receive our, getting our food out there, and then coming back into here. That, of course, will be after holy hour. And to speed things up, rather than having people come in and clear the tables and us leaving and stuff, we will be having carts and stuff at the back. If we can just set it at the back, and then they will disperse with it. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you for for your patience. I know we went a little long last night, but we'll try to make up for it a little early. We're trying. Thank you very much. And again, if you have any issues, I'm around somewhere. Thank you very much.
Now call upon the worthy State Secretary to make a motion to accept the minutes of the proceedings of the 99th Annual State Convention.
Worthy State Deputy, the minutes of the proceedings of the 99th Annual State Convention can be found on pages 18 to 36 in the convention book. I move the proceedings of the 99th Annual State Meeting be adopted as printed in this convention book.
The worthy state secretary has moved the minutes as presented. Do we have a seconder? Was Humboldt, 1886. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Our bylaws state that the nominating committee shall be comprised of the two most immediate past state deputies present at the meeting, appointed by the state deputy, and three past grad knights present at the meeting to be elected by the delegates. I have appointed immediate past state deputy Chris Pacharski and past state deputy Dennis Kerrigan in lieu of the COVID, but I'll call upon immediate past state deputy Chris for the election of the nominating committee.
So as per our bylaws, we have to have three past grant knights elected to serve on the nominating committee. So I will open the floor for nominations for three past grant knights. I really have to get past grant knights.
Karen Book from 8905.
What was the name again?
Eric Love.
Okay. Go ahead, John.
I'd like to nominate Paul Fornak.
Paul Fornak. 1956. Is that what it is?
8896.
Oh, 8896. Close. One more. One more past grant knight. Brother Paul.
I'll nominate Brother Tony Gardner. 13-14.
Thank you. Could I get a motion to move nominations cease? Norton, 2031. Seconder, Lenoville, 10-5-856. I would like the three past grant knights to be nominated, and then we're going to meet at the back right away.
Alrighty. The convention book contains the state executive, district deputy, program director, and chairman reports. These were distributed earlier in the convention package. You should have had a chance to read the reports. Unless there are any objections, I will ask for a motion to accept the reports as presented. Prince Albert 9949, seconded by Moose Jaw 9760. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Did this last year. In the presence of our state chaplain, Father Ed, and our associate state chaplain, Bishop Brian, I'm going to ask that all present here and virtually to take a pledge. Please stand and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I swear that I will read all the reports.
I will read all the reports.
Cover to cover.
cover to cover.
And when I am done,
When I am done,
I will share the book
I will share the book
with my council executive
with my council executive
and ask them to read the reports,
and ask them to read the reports.
cover to cover too,
Cover to cover too,
and I will offer the book
and I will offer the book
to any council member in good standing
to any council member in good standing
to read,
to read,
so they too may be made aware
so they too may be made aware
of the information shared this weekend.
of the information shared this weekend.
May Lord. Thank you. I know we're giggling, but it just goes to show the importance of what this weekend is about. So, thank you for doing that. I call upon our worthy state secretary, Brother Larry, to give the state secretary's report on membership of the jurisdiction of Saskatchewan.
The complete written secretary's report on membership, showing the membership status for each council by district for the past 5 years. As of January 1st of each year from 2016 to 2022 is found in the convention book beginning on page 38. The total membership numbers for all Saskatchewan councils for the past 27 years, as at January 1st for each year from 1995 to 2022, are found at the very end of the report on page 40. As of July 1st, 2021, Saskatchewan started the year with 10,312 members. This consisted of 5,668 insurance members, 4,569 associate members, 373 inactive members, and 649 honorary members, 2,742 honorary members, 48 disabled members, and 77 online members. As of April 1st, 2022, Supreme has on record for Saskatchewan the following: a total of 10,237 members, or 75 members less than July 1st, 2021. Insurance members are 5,668, associate members are 5,169. Included in the totals are inactive members, 372 plus 1 for the year, honorary 623 plus 9 for the year, honorary life 2,860 minus 13 for the year. Disabled is 48 plus 2 for the year, and current membership average is age 63. We are lowering this tremendously in the last years. Online members are 66 and 61 or plus 61 for the year, and online membership is e-members. We started the Columbian year with 131 online members. Our goal was only 75. As of April 1st, we have 97 total members join online. Of these members, 72 expressed their interest in joining the local councils. The current fraternal year conversion from online to council memberships is 26 of 92, so 28.2%. The total number who converted to a local council is 26 of 96, or of 97, which is 26.8%. The average age of the online membership is 38. Saskatchewan at the present time is in the top 10 jurisdictions for the percentage of online memberships of our local total intake. I prepared this, State Secretary, 2022.
Thank you, worthy State Secretary Larry. This time we will attend to the State Treasurer's report. I invite State Treasurer Marty Klimovich to give this report.
Morning.
Morning.
A number of years ago, we established the Audit and Finance Committee and incorporated the terms
of reference to the Saskatchewan State Bylaws, Article 7, Section 6. Committee members are appointed by the state deputy and consist of one past state deputy and 3 Grand Knights attending the convention. This year, with the threat of the ongoing pandemic, we ask our worthy state deputy to appoint 3 Grand Knights. I thank the members of the Audit and Finance Committee, past state deputy Dennis Carignan, worthy Grand Knight Reagan Hall of Council 2031 Thornton, worthy Grand Knight Donald Cape of Council 5353 Spirit Wood, worthy Grand Knight Michelle Staschak of Council 6594 Kelvington Rose Valley. This time, I wish to invite Pasig State Deputy Dennis Carignan, the chairman of the Audit and Finance Committee, to the podium to give his report from the committee. Can someone?
Good morning, Brother Knights. Sorry I'm late, I was busy. Okay, the Audit and Finance Committee met virtually by Zoom just this past week to examine the financial review statement of the year ending June 30th, 2021, and to review the budget for the 2022-2023 Columbian year. State Deputy Joe Riffle and State Treasurer Marty Novick provided information and answered the committee members' questions. The committee was satisfied with the independent accountant's review presented, or report presented. The year ended with a surplus of $68,679. Because of the restrictions due to COVID, some state events needed to be virtual or canceled. Consequently, expenditures for most state events was considerably less than the budgeted amount. In lieu of this, the state board provided rebates to the councils on their January and June per capita assessments. The committee members felt that the financial review reflected an accurate picture of the financial position of the Saskatchewan State Council for the year ending June 30th, 2021, and therefore recommend the review engagement report of the financial statements to be accepted as presented. The committee also reviewed the budget of revenues and expenses for the Columbian year 2022-23. The committee was informed that this budget was approved by the state board prior to a motion made to increase mileage reimbursement to 45 cents per kilometer. The increase for district deputies, program directors, and state officers goes into effect immediately and is applied to state-sponsored events, namely the state convention, state organizational meeting, and the state midterm meeting. It was determined that because of the healthy budget surplus, this increased expenditure is affordable and warranted at this time of high prices at the gas pump. The committee recommends that the remuneration for mileage be monitored and adjusted to reflect a fair compensation for travel expenses at that particular time. Thus, the committee recommends that the budget be accepted. I would like to thank the members of the Audit and Finance Committee for their service. So are there any questions?
Delegates, you have heard the recommendation of the Audit and Finance Committee. I now call committee member Richard Stacha to the microphone for the purpose of making a motion.
Thank you, Mr. State Treasurer. I move that the report and recommendations of the Audit and Finance Committee be accepted as presented.
May I ask for a seconder? Star Casey? 5249. All in favor? No opposed? Carried. At this time, State Council must appoint an independent accountant for the coming years 2021-2022. This year will be the first year of a one-year commitment for the state deputy. I move that this body reconfirm the appointment of the Saskatoon firm of A1 low-cost income tax and accounting services Ltd. To conduct a review, engagement of the State Council financial statements for the year ending June 30, 2022.
Moved by worthy State Treasurer Marty Clemente. Do we have a seconder? That's 280. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Call upon our early immediate past state deputy for the report of the nominating committee.
The nominating committee has received the following nominations. For the position of state deputy, Amy Packett. For the position of state secretary, Marty Clemente, Marcus Nugget. For the position of state treasurer, Greg Zora. For the position of state advocate, Miguel George. And we have two for the position of state warden, Tom Schwab and Dale Meyer. Nominations will be accepted from the floor. Elections will take place this afternoon.
I call on our worthy State Secretary, Brother Larry Packett, to report on the findings of the Credential Committee of the assembled delegate.
The credentials committee is made up of State Secretary, myself, and 3 district deputies, which were Robert Wackles, worthy district deputy number 25, thank you, and Dale Meyer, worthy district deputy number 26, thank you, and Ron Denis is right there on the left or the right-hand corner in the virtual. He couldn't be with us today. Ron Denis, worthy district deputy number 27, thank you. We report the following. We have registered for this convention. We have 7 state board members. We've got 107 delegates, 26 which are virtual, and 74 in-house. We have 3 visitors here today, 4 past state deputies, 10 district deputies, 6 program directors, 8 clergy, 53 ladies, 9 agency staff, 5 charitable foundation board, 5 convention committee, for a total of 217 people attending this year's convention. The report of the Credentials Committee be adopted as presented.
Moved by worthy State Secretary Larry. We have a seconder. Flanagan. 68. All in favor? Carried. This time I call our worthy state advocate, Brother Greg Desort, to bring forth to the floor any resolutions pertaining to this body.
Morning.
Morning.
You can find the resolutions report on page 72 in your booklet. Resolutions were passed by the State Council at the State Convention held virtually on April 17, 2021. The resolutions give direction to the councils and State Council. State Board resolutions are also directed to the Supreme Advocate and submitted to the Supreme Convention. For the resolutions to be meaningful and to guide the decisions and actions of the Knights of Columbus and Saskatchewan, it is important that we take the appropriate action. Actions on the resolutions. The resolutions approved at the State Convention are recorded by the State Secretary and are part of the minutes of that proceeding. The Public Relations Director sends out a press release of the major resolutions that were passed at the State Convention. State Advocate, who is in charge of resolutions, follows up on resolutions requiring action. Resolutions at the State Convention in 2021 and follow-up actions included. Resolution number 1, the quincentennial celebration of Christianity in the Philippines. The State Secretary forwarded the resolution to the Supreme Advocate for consideration at the 2021 Supreme Convention, and delegates accepted this resolution along with similarly worded resolutions from other jurisdictions. Resolution number 2, pray for an end to the pandemic. Members and councils were encouraged to pray both individually and as a group for an end to the pandemic. Resolution number 3, felicitations to the State Board members. The State Secretary forwarded the resolution to the Supreme Advocate for consideration at the 2021 Supreme Convention, and delegates accepted this resolution along with similarly worded resolutions from other jurisdictions. Appreciation to State Chaplain Father Ed Gibney. Father Ed Gibney accepted the resolution with thanks and gratitude. Number 5, appreciation to Associate State Chaplain Bishop Brian Veda. Bishop Brian Veda accepted the resolution with thanks and gratitude. Salutations to newly elected Supreme Knight Patrick E. Kelly. The State Secretary forwarded the resolution to the Supreme Advocate for consideration at the 2021 Supreme Convention, and delegates accepted this resolution along with similarly worded resolutions from other jurisdictions. Salutations to Supreme Chaplain. The State Secretary forwarded the resolution to the Supreme Advocate for consideration at the 2021 Supreme Convention, and delegates accepted this resolution along with similarly worded resolutions from other jurisdictions. Appreciation to past Supreme Knight Carly Anderson. State Secretary forwarded this resolution to a Supreme Advocate for consideration at the 2021 Supreme Convention. And delegates accepted this resolution along with similarly worded resolutions from other jurisdictions. Solicitations to the Supreme Officers and Supreme Board of Directors. This was also forwarded to the Supreme Advocate for consideration at the 2021 Supreme Convention. Delegates accepted this resolution along with other similar worded resolutions from other jurisdictions. In solidarity with our religious leaders, this as well was forwarded to the 2021 Supreme Convention and was accepted along with other similarly worded resolutions. Recognition of the beatification of Blessed Michael McGivney. This as well was forwarded to the Supreme Advocate for consideration at the 2021 Supreme Convention. And delegates accepted this resolution along with similarly worded resolutions from the other jurisdictions. Appreciation, Bishop Albert Thiebnot. Bishop Albert thanked the Knights for their support and gratitude. Welcome and support to Bishop-elect Stephen Hero. State Deputy Joseph Riffle. Personally welcome Bishop Stephen Hero on behalf of the Knights of Columbus and Saskatchewan. Group A, State Council Policy. Our State Council Policy is made up of previously approved resolutions. The list is published in the convention booklet and is presented to the delegates for reaffirmation at each state convention. Group A, State Council Policy, gives us our direction and requires action on an ongoing basis. We must keep them in the forefront, continually seeking ways to follow up on them. Group A are approved State Council Policy and will remain in effect until changed by a resolution submitted and passed by a majority of council meeting. I'm not going to read all 28 of them, I'll just pick a few. Number 2, that all councils encourage the promotion, nurturing, and awareness of vocations with prayer. Councils continue to promote respect for life through In Support of Life programs. Councils be encouraged to take an active part in the activities of the Saskatchewan Special Olympics Society at the provincial and zone levels. And the Knights promote an annual novena to Our Lady of Guadalupe, the patroness of the unborn, for an end to abortion. To make a motion to reaffirm Group A State Council Policy as printed. Can I have a mover? Saskatoon 2695. The seconder. North Battleford 2094. All in favor? Carried. Group B, State Council Policy Financial. Group B resolutions are State Council policy and will remain in effect until changed by resolution submitted and passed by a majority of the meeting of the Saskatchewan State Council. That each council's contribution made at the beginning of each year to the Saskatchewan Bishops Mission Fund be $2 per member. That the inter-council charity appeal continue and all monies raised be turned over to the State Council with the net proceeds after prizes and expenses distributed as follows. Based on December 31st Supreme Membership Report. $1 per member to Saskatchewan Special Olympics. $1 per member to support the requirements of the Teen Aid program by hiring a teen aid educator and resource person. Net proceeds to be refunded to councils based on that council's percentage of total sales plus $2 per member. Councils be encouraged to pay a monthly stipend in their parish for a mass to end abortion or for the unborn child. Saskatchewan Knights of Columbus continue to subsidize bus transportation for the annual March for Life in Regina. Student members from college councils who attend the state convention with delegates or visitors receive a discounted registration fee determined by the state board and the convention committee. That all Saskatchewan Knights of Columbus councils be encouraged to consider making a donation to the Saskatchewan Knights of Columbus Charitable Foundation in memory of their departed brothers. To make a motion to reaffirm Group B Council policy as printed. I have a mover. Regina 10313. The seconder. Unity 5707. All in favor? Carried. Group C resolutions. These are the resolutions that are submitted by subordinate councils and or state board. The resolutions committee consists of the state advocate, myself, Greg Vizorek, and my committee this year was Grand Knight James Empey, Bishop Luca Council 5914 Regina, Grand Knight Richard Colville, Unity Council 5707, Grand Knight James Nestman, Holy Spirit Council 8905 Saskatoon. The committee shall present all the resolutions to the State Council together with its recommendations. For each resolution, the committee will offer one of the following recommendations: adopt, reject, no action, or refer to executive committee. These four options are taken from the Supreme Officer's Desk Reference Material section under Council and Assembly Issues number 10 resolutions. Resolutions that are recommended adopt, I would ask the Council submitting the resolution to be the mover, and then I will ask for a seconder. For a resolution that recommends reject, I will give you some background as to why the committee has recommended reject. If you agree, nothing more needs to be done. If you disagree, you may move to adopt the resolution. Resolutions that there is a recommendation of no action. This does not indicate that the resolution is without merit. It indicates only that it is in the opinion of the committee, the proposed resolution should not be expressed by the State Council or the order at this time. The resolution itself requires no specific action, or that the resolution proposes something that is already in effect for the State Council or in the order. Resolutions that there is a recommendation of refer to committee. The executive committee should promptly consider the resolution submitted to them. The executive committee may, in its discretion, act upon these resolutions or defer action depending on further study. Amendments to the resolution will be accepted. The amendment must pertain to the basic subject matter of the main resolution and must be submitted by writing. But with respect to all, if an amendment is simply requested because of a slight variation of write-up, but there is no change to the intention of the resolution, we ask that there be no amendment. We are aware that it is submitted to Supreme. The Supreme Advocate shall group similarly worded resolutions together as they have the resolutions rewritten for the Supreme Convention. So we are asking you to focus on the content and the message of the resolution and not on the legal wording. It is actually irrelevant to some extent. The Supreme Advocate's Office will rewrite all resolutions. Debate is governed by our state bylaws under Article 9, Rules of the Order. Section 2, Limitation of Debate. No member shall speak longer than 5 minutes without permission of the chair or more than once upon any question until all others who desire to speak have spoken. I would ask that those who come forward to speak, please give your name, council name, and number. I ask that the person speaking limits his remarks to the matter under consideration and should speak in a manner befitting a Catholic gentleman. For voting, a majority will be required to pass a resolution. Resolution number 1. Proposal to simplify member transfers. Whereas our order, like all other voluntary organizations, is always looking for ways to encourage men to join, as well as remain as members, but personnel management processes are often difficult to use, slow, and inaccurate. Further, given our changing economy, people, including the Knights of Columbus members and their families, are much more mobile, as well as internet savvy than ever before. And whereas knightsofcolumbus.org allows anyone to visit to learn more about faith and about our faith and the order, its Get Involved Join function allows men to join online. Its Remembers area provides reference material for all members. And its Council Officer online area has candidate prospect functions which allow worthy Grand Knight or financial secretaries to assist men to join, process their online applications quickly, and can be used to process transfers. Officers Online has member billing and member management records management systems that allows the appropriate officers to maintain our financial and personnel records, and the print center function to produce a variety of reports for whatever period, for whatever reasons necessary. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, our order even allowed use of video conferencing platforms for meetings, including valid participation in exemplifications. Now our order should allow our members themselves or the appropriate officers to assist them to transfer between assemblies and councils, and brothers to apply to join the fourth degree online. By adding functions to knightskfc.org for members of transfer and join the fourth, to assembly, officer online, to candidate, prospect, council, candidate, prospect, fourth degree applicant, and to candidate a transfer in and transfer out, to work with MB, MM, and DC to make transfers easier, faster, and more accurate. Fourth degree applicants join the fourth, transfer in. All need fields of membership number and current assembly or council number for completion by the members and appropriate officers, so that Supreme membership records can be automatically notified and updated to speed up transfers and promotion of brothers being served. Therefore, be it resolved that Supreme add functions to kfc.org for members of transfer and join the fourth. To assembly officer online candidate prospect, council officer online candidate of fourth degree applicant, and to candidate and prospect of transfer in and transfer out that work with member billing, member management, print center, so that members themselves or the appropriate officers on their behalf can apply to transfer between assemblies and councils and to join the fourth degree in an easier, faster, and more accurate manner. Submitted by Weyburn Council 1731. This resolution will be referred to committee. A lot of the content in it deals with fourth degree matters, which are not dealt with in the resolutions of the state board. Resolution number 2, proposed changes to officers online member management system. Whereas all
There's someone online to speak to the first one. Are we allowing that, or are we speaking to all the at the end?
Go ahead.
Okay. Now, Brother Polo. Back here.
Worthy State Deputy and officers, thank you for this. Brother Pete Percola, I'm the Financial Secretary of Council 1731. My worthy Grand Knight and a couple of past Grand Knights are there as our voting delegates. I'm a non-voting guest. I'm the one that drafted the 1, 2, and 3 for Council 1731. I hope that the committee looks at it favorably. I'm certainly open to any private discussions with anyone. The intention wasn't to focus solely or particularly on fourth. I was trying to combine all of it. I'm not sure how the other officers have, what frustration level they faced in the transfers, but I did have a recent transfer at the time that did influence my writing of this and promoting it to my council. So I hope it's not just the focus of the fourth that you're looking at. It's really overall to try to blend it all. And if it can go ahead, and I'm certainly willing to work with state or Supreme or the province in any of the district, depending on what level. So if there's any questions, I'm certainly open to answering them right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Peter. Because of the complexity of that resolution, that is a large reason of why it needs to be referred to committee. Resolution number 2, proposed changes to officers online member management system. Whereas all charitable service voluntary organizations are required to account to their membership and government authorities to prove that they are spending their funds appropriately, our order requires forms 1315 and 1295 audit reports to be completed, submitted, and retained. While the forms are available on kfc.org for members, they do not allow for input, compilation, and retrieval of data easily. Require transposition of data from already available sources and must be printed for review and submission. Faithful controllers and financial secretaries now use kfc.org officer online member billings and member management records, management systems to maintain financial and personnel records, and print center function to produce reports such as members with outstanding balances and income and expense as required. MWOB and Land E plus other supporting documents like financial institution account statements are necessary to prepare audit reports for review by a worthy faithful navigator or worthy grant knight and their trustees. And whereas, given the above, audit report completion, review, and submission can be improved by Schedule A, allow the field to elapse when the completion not required box is checked off. Schedule B, all the information is available in MD and MM, so it also should be checked off like Schedule A. Schedule Sheet C should be modified to delete cash to avoid confusion over cash, checks, or e-transfers. Retain undeposited funds. Amend bank to financial institution to avoid confusion over use of non-banks, credit unions, or other. Include other assets in the area between the financial institution accounts and due from members' lines to align all assets. Allow blank space for financial institution accounts, lines for assemblies and councils like Council 1731, whose account descriptions do not match the current ones. Allow larger blank space for miscellaneous liabilities, descriptions, auto sum total current liabilities, auto sum total current assets, autofill less current liabilities from total current liabilities, auto sum total assets. Audit reports should be able to be saved in MB and viewable and Officer Online as audits, pending and approved. Include an OSD storage function to allow faithful comptrollers or financial secretaries to save PDF and any other documents necessary, particularly MWOB and Land E for the period. Good for review and retention. Allow the worthy faithful navigator and more worthy grant knight and their trustees to review and approve audits pending. After all of them have approved the audits, they are saved as approved for future read-only access by the faithful navigator, faithful purser, and faithful comptroller, or worthy grant knight, treasurer, and financial secretary, and their trustees. Allow Supreme, worthy Vice Supreme Master, worthy District Master, worthy State Deputy, and worthy District Deputies read-only access to their assemblies and councils audits. Approved an OSD to eliminate reports having to be sent to them, making them easier and faster to prepare more accurately and easier and faster to be reviewed, approved, and retained by and for all appropriate officers. Audit reports, like other reports available via PC, could be printed out for review and signatured and scanned and saved in OSD. Forms 1315 and 1295 can be retained until these processes are no longer used. Therefore, be it resolved that Supreme add kfc.org Officer Online Records Management System, an annual and semi-annual audit report function that will work with member billing, member management, and print center to make preparing, reviewing, and retaining these reports faster and accurate by and for all appropriate officers. Submitted by Weyburn Council 1731. Resolution committee is is going to refer this to committee as well. Resolution number 3, proposed additions to members online. Whereas all nonprofit, charitable, or service organizations are required to account for their activities and expenditures in order to show that they are working to benefit those in need and not for their own gains. To address this, our order requires assemblies and councils to complete forms 1728 and 10784 to document our faith in action activities. However, 1728 and 10784 are not a records management system, so the required hours and financial information must be gathered, compiled, tabulated, retained, reviewed, and submitted in a manner that is difficult, slow, and inaccurate. And whereas our order uses kfc.org, officers online, member billing, and member management, and print center function to allow the appropriate officers to maintain our financial and personnel records and produce a variety of reports, retention, members of outstanding balances, and journal and ledger, income and expense reports, and various periods for a variety of reasons, including reports to meetings and to prepare 1315 annual assembly and 1295 annual and semi-annual council audit reports. We now need to add a member activity RMS to work with MV, MM, and PC to gather, compile, and tabulate our members' fraternal activity hours, produce reports from meetings, and allow the information to be reviewed and audited by the appropriate officers. If MV accounts and events were properly aligned, fraternal activity hours could be matched to assembly and council funds expended. If Supreme, worthy Vice Supreme Master, worthy District Master, worthy State Deputy, and worthy District Deputy as appropriate could have read-only access to MA, MD, and MM, there would be less or no need to submit reports, saving administrative time and costs at all levels. While 1728 and 10784 could be retained until no longer required. Therefore, be it resolved that Supreme add a member activity records management system to kfc.org, officer online to work with member billing, member management, and print center, so that the appropriate officers can gather, compile, tabulate, and retain our member hours, and assemblies and councils funds expended on faith in action and other fraternal activities produce reports and review and audit activities and expenditures as needed. Submitted by Wavering Council 1731. This resolution will also be referred to committee. Resolution number 4, amendment to the state bylaws to reflect changes to Supreme program model. Be it resolved that Article 10, Section 1, appointing committees of the Saskatchewan Knights of Columbus State Council bylaws be amended as follows. The state deputy shall appoint a membership director, a general program director, a director for each of the church activities, community activity, council activity, culture of life activity, family activity, and youth activity, as well as other committee directors that are necessary for the successful functioning of the order in Saskatchewan. Shall be replaced with the state deputy shall appoint a membership director, a general program director, directors for each of faith activity, council activity, life activity, and family activity, as well as the other committee directors that are necessary for the successful functioning of the order in Saskatchewan. Resolution committee recommends that this resolution be adopted. Can I have a mover? Cudworth 3183. Seconder. Regina 5914. All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Felicitations to the state board members. Be it resolved that we offer our state board members our support, fraternal gratitude, and fervent prayers that Almighty God will continue to grant them good health, wisdom, and inspiration for continued leadership for our state jurisdiction. Submitted by Grand Knight James Empey, Bishop Luca 5914. The resolution committee recommends this be adopted. I have a mover. Regina 5914. Seconder. State Regina 15955. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Appreciation to State Chaplain Father Ed Gibney. Be it resolved that the Saskatchewan State Council Knights of Columbus show our appreciation to State Chaplain Father Ed Gibney for his contribution to the spiritual growth of the Knights of Saskatchewan during the past year as State Chaplain of the Saskatchewan State Council. May Almighty God continue to grant him good health and wisdom, and may he continue to be an inspiration to all Knights for many more years. Submitted by the Saskatchewan State Board. The Resolution Committee recommends we adopt. I have a mover. Watson 5850. A seconder. Landis 5549. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Appreciation to Associate State Chaplain Bishop Brian Beta. Be it resolved that the Saskatchewan State Council Knights of Columbus show our appreciation to Associate State Chaplain Bishop Brian Beta for his contribution to the spiritual growth of the Knights in Saskatchewan. May Almighty God continue to grant him good health and wisdom, and may he continue to be an inspiration to all the Knights for many more years. Submitted by Saskatchewan State Board. Committee recommends adoption. I have a mover. Lestock 8338. A seconder. Saskatoon 13129. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Salutations to the Supreme Knight, Patrick E. Kelly. Be it resolved that the Saskatchewan members of the Knights of Columbus offer their support, prayers, and gratitude to Patrick Kelly, Supreme Knight. May God grant him the strength, wisdom, and health to guide our order to further success and continue the good works and vision of his predecessors. The Resolution Committee recommends adoption. Can I have a mover? North Battleford 7336. Seconder. Saskatoon 2695. All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Salutations to Supreme Chaplain. Be it resolved that we pledge our support and our gratitude to our worthy Supreme Chaplain, Archbishop William Laurie, and may God grant him health and guidance for many more years. Submitted by Saskatchewan State Board. Resolution Committee recommends adoption. I have a mover. Bigger 6169. Seconder. Prince Albert 9949. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Felicitations to Supreme Officers and Supreme Board of Directors. Be it resolved that we offer our prayers and good wishes to the Supreme Officers and the Supreme Board of Directors. May Almighty God continue to grant them good health, wisdom, and inspiration for continued leadership for our order, and that under their able leadership, the achievements of the Knights of Columbus may continue to grow in prominence. Submitted by Saskatchewan State Board. The committee recommends adopting. Have a mover. Weyburn 1731. Seconder. Martinsville 9690. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Number 11, in solidarity with our religious leaders, be it resolved that we consistently and ardently affirm our support and unwavering loyalty to our Holy Father, Pope Francis, and to our bishops and priests. Submitted by Saskatchewan State Board. Committee recommends adoption. I have a mover. Yorkton 5182. Seconder. Moose Jaw 1534. All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Number 12, Recognition of the beatification of Blessed Michael McGivney. Be it resolved that we celebrate the beatification of our founder, the Blessed Michael McGivney, and continue to pray for the final miracle that will lead to his canonization and elevate him to full sainthood. Submitted by Saskatchewan State Board. Resolution Committee recommends we adopt this resolution. They have a mover. Leo Bill 10856. Seconder. Regina 8896. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And apologies for a late submission. There is a 13th resolution. Number 13, in solidarity with the people of Ukraine. Whereas the people of Ukraine are suffering immensely from the unprovoked attack by Russia on Ukraine and its citizens. And whereas the outraged, blatant Russian disregard for human rights, sovereignty of the Ukrainian people, and attacks on innocent Ukrainian civilians has led to a humanitarian crisis. Be it resolved that councils and individual knights in Saskatchewan continue to assist the people of Ukraine by making a donation to the Ukrainian Solidarity Fund. It can be found online at kfc.org. Help Ukraine at kfc.org is the website. Be it also resolved that knights in Saskatchewan be encouraged to conduct a 9-day novena for the consecration of Russia and Ukraine to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Submitted by the Saskatchewan State Board. The committee recommends adopting. Can I have a mover? Regina 5914. Seconder. Humboldt 1886. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. That concludes the resolutions.
I'd like to thank our real estate advocate in this committee for reviewing all of the resolutions. And at this time, there's going to be a few of us leaving to attend the ladies program. So I turn the gavel over to our real estate secretary.
Thank you, Phil. I'd like to invite our Charity Appeal Chairman, Brother Richard Coble, forward to share with you information about last year's Charity Appeal in Redverse, as well as to share instructions about the one coming up in November, on November 5th, 2022 in Davidson.
This is Debbie D. Larry, we're the Secretary Larry. Your Excellencies, for the next. My report starts on page 65 and continues to the top part of page 66, and then the details of the 2021 Charity Appeal appear on pages 67, 68, and 69, with a summary at the bottom of page 69 of the winners and the budgeted expenses for the 2021 draw, as well as the actual expenses. Just, I guess, from a point of view, there is some suggestions in the boxes that you'll be picking up your tickets on how to improve and increase your sales. I really strongly suggest and recommend that you look at something that is for your community. The more broad you make your sales, the more broad you make your target, the more opportunities you have for sales. So to just say, keep it strictly within your parish, you really narrow the focus of where you can sell your tickets to. And some of the councils that have shown great results have obviously expanded their sales market. You look over here to the corner over here, that's District 9. That's their tickets.
Most of the other districts have the one box, and some have a cornflakes box, and that's their district. There is opportunity to grow. I look at the population of some of our smaller centers that are doing fantastic numbers in sales. And if some of our larger cities did anywhere close to that, I couldn't print enough tickets and I couldn't get them all in my car to bring them here. So I just encourage everybody to do that. Now, there are a number of district deputies that are not here to pick up the tickets and distribute them to their councils. So if you are from a district that's here, but your district deputy isn't here, I would ask you to come to where I'm sitting over there to pick up tickets for your district, because everybody's scattered around. So other than me trying to find where you're seated, just please come in. So I have District 2, District 4, District 6, District 7, District 8, District 12, District 13, District 16, District 18, District 19, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, I have your tickets, Larry, 26, 27, and 28, and I know that several of the DDs for Saskatoon are not seated over on the side here. That would conclude my report. Any questions? Seeing none, I will thank you very much for your participation and your efforts in sales. I really do encourage you to have a charity appeal chairman for your council. Not that you should be the only person selling tickets, but he's the control person. And then every one of you isn't just to buy tickets, but is to be a salesperson. Thank you.
I want to just say a huge thank you on behalf of Joe and on behalf of the whole state board for the wonderful job and the dedication and very hard work that Richard does for the success of the charity appeal. I think we should actually, because of the hard work he does and the critique manner he does it in, we should give him another round of applause. You may not know, but Brother Richard has been in charge of the charity appeal. This is his 6th year. So if anybody feels the need that they would like to learn what Richard does to take over, we are scouting for somebody to help him to genuinely, he would be a mentor to help the new person take over. So if you feel it in your heart that you like numbers and you like to do that sort of thing, please come up and talk to us or talk to Richard. So once again, Richard, thank you for all your hard work. I would now like to talk. We have a little free time. We're actually ahead of schedule, so we're going to get Eugene. Are you in the room? Eugene and Timochuk. If you'd come forward, Eugene, and start your program.
Thank you, worthy State Secretary Larry. My State General Program Director report will be, we'll talk about it tomorrow morning. There's a few things in there that I want to wait for and then we'll do tomorrow. But today, I would like to call on some of our program directors and chairmen to come up and give their reports. I call on our worthy State Culture of Life Chairman, Brother Louis Roth, to come to the podium and give his presentation on the culture of life.
Sorry about that.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. You'll find my written report in the convention booklet on page 113. The details of the March for Life in Regina, you will find in the written report, but I wanted to add a few more things promoting that event. We need to start promoting that event right now in our communities. The event is in 2 weeks' time, and we need to have a good voice, and I'll explain why that's so important as my report goes on. The event will start May the 7th, Saturday, May the 7th, at the Holy Rosary Cathedral, with the Rosary at 12:30 p.m., Mass to follow at 1 p.m., and the March to follow the Mass. Campaign Life Coalition Saskatchewan will host the annual Mother's Day Walk in Saskatoon on Sunday, May the 8th, from 2 to 3 p.m. along Collis Drive between Hospital Drive and Wiggins Avenue. Plan now to attend this peaceful demonstration celebrating life. The life-affirming signs will be provided. So you ask, why do we march? The past year has seen a lot of pressure against the pro-life movement in Canada. Euthanasia is being expanded to include the mentally ill beginning March 2023. The threat to remove charitable status from crisis pregnancy centers is being considered, and labeling pro-life groups as hate groups is also being discussed at the federal level. They call us hateful because we want to restrict the so-called woman's right to kill her preborn child. Provincially, we have seen a 50-meter bubble zone implemented around hospitals in Saskatchewan, which currently restricts our ability to talk to women before they have an abortion, thus making us ineffective in being a voice to prevent these women from making the biggest mistakes of their lives. Recently, CTV's W5 did a segment on euthanasia and assisted suicide, and to say it was grossly biased towards the culture of death would be an understatement. The pro-life view was never mentioned in their segment, and they were very proud to promote euthanasia. The episode made euthanasia to be a normal, very normal event. Letters also need to be written to these biased media outlets and to express our disappointment. Over 2 years ago, the pro-life groups of Saskatchewan presented over 16,000 signed letters to the government of Saskatchewan to enact conscious legislation to protect healthcare workers who oppose euthanasia and assisted suicide. Today, the government of Saskatchewan has done nothing with our request. We need to hold our elected MLAs accountable for their inaction to these requests. We need our brother knights to continue to write letters demanding conscious protection legislation as the mainstream media promotes euthanasia. We need to be a voice to oppose this practice. The road ahead is not an easy one, but if we uphold our principle of unity together, we can help turn the tide to bring back a culture of life. As brother knights, we need to be active in our writing of letters to our political leaders at both the federal and provincial level and participating in these marches. Also, if you find that you're not receiving pro-life literature in your mail or via email, let me know, and I can help direct you to pro-life groups that you feel best represent how you want to be involved. All the pro-life groups seek additional personnel in their organizations to meet the challenges of the work that is required to effectively put up a good fight against the culture of death. So plan to join us in this fight by attending the March for Life in Regina on Saturday, May the 7th, the Mother's Day Walk on May the 8th, and writing letters to our elected officials and the biased media outlets. We need your help today. Brother Knights, Viva Jesus.
Questions for Brother Louis?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. In California, they're proposing a new law to allow abortion to occur up to 7 days after birth of the child. And that's happening right now in California.
That's correct. And also, I do believe Maryland is considering that as well.
You have to get our guidance. So speaking out, guys.
I have a question. Where are the pro-life flags available from? Are they available yet?
The pro-life flags.
Yes.
There's been a few different things with pro-life flags. PA has one, there's a few, and they've come up with some different kind of a unified flag. And Regina is basically promoting them right now. I think Saskatchewan Pro-Life has come up with one and they've got them for sale, if I'm not mistaken. I think they'll be promoting them at the March for Life in Regina.
Yeah, because I've had council members ask me, and I didn't know where they were.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk more about that in March for Life Regina. We'll have, there should be some flags there. In fact, I think they are for sale right now. Other question?
Statement, I think those that speak should be up stand so that we can recognize they have the floor.
The comment was, if you have anything to say or anything to ask a question, please stand in your, where you are so that the assembly can see who's standing. And use the mic. The mic is up here, so if you're asking a question or you want to make a comment, please stand, come to the mic.
For the brothers in Jean's defense, Jean cannot stand. So if he does have a comment, I think we should make it allowable for him to say from the seating rather than standing and coming to the mic.
And carry the mic.
Yeah, I don't think it's true. That's right.
I'll bring it to me then.
Okay, thank you, and thank you, Brother Louis, for your presentation.
Time I would like to welcome Archbishop Don Mullen. He just joined us. Would like to offer Archbishop Don, if you'd like to come forward and say a few words and give us some wisdom.
Dear Brother Knights, very good to see all of you and see all of you here almost at the end of COVID anyway, or wherever we're at in COVID. It's good to be back together. And thank you. It's great to be here as you launch into your centenary year. I thought it would be useful in this context to check with Larry that there's no media. It's kind of a private context here, because I would share just for a few minutes about the forthcoming papal visit and potential way in which the Knights might be involved. So I know it's a topic of interest to everybody, and it's going to make it a special but also a challenging year, as we've lived through some challenging years already. I guess the first thing I want to say is that I trust that many of you will, be the recipients of emails suggesting that the bishops are not working with all the information, that we're working in a kind of a misguided way, and that there are, and I just want to assure you that the bishops are not working with a very limited information, but with a fairly broad scope of information as we've engaged in this discussion. And this is where I want to make sure the media is not here. And so, the bishops aren't under the assumption that every hit of a ground penetrating radar at a former residential school is a child who was murdered by the Oblates or anybody else, right? But we have listened to so many survivors and heard waves of suffering. So our response isn't principally to the ground penetrating radar that findings over the past year. Our commitment has been as a result of walking with Indigenous people, with survivors, over the long haul. And I think our commitment is to assist accompanying of people who, in every societal indicator of well-being, are struggling in terms of access to health, education, in terms of incarceration rates, addiction rates, in terms of poverty rates. Every Catholic instinct to reach out to those on the margins should be activated within us in our desire to walk with Indigenous people. The other thing I wanted to say is that you've read media reports probably about the prospective locations where Pope Francis would come and when he might come. We're still waiting from the Holy See. So we are, when we say in the media, we're not sure and we're still waiting, that's true. We're still waiting. It's quite possible that it would be the end of July. It's quite possible that the Pope would not be coming to Saskatchewan, but would be coming to Alberta. But that's not sure, it's not decided, and there are a lot of people in Saskatchewan who are still pushing in that regard. If he comes to Saskatchewan, we'll be in touch with every Knights Council in a big way, because this is going to involve us in a more immediate way. But if he comes to, hypothetically, Alberta, there still is a rich opportunity for us, and it needs to happen on local levels for us to strengthen relationships with Indigenous communities who are near us or with Indigenous people who live in our cities, and to maximize the possibility of this visit really bringing some healing, some reconciliation, and allowing us as church and Indigenous peoples to move forward. We are all feeling the need to move forward. One of the things that struck me very strongly out of the Rome experience was that for the people who were there, for the 32 Indigenous people who were the primary delegates, and for the significant number of others who were joining the event, it was a tremendously powerful experience. Meeting with Pope Francis, having that personal engagement, being able to tell their stories, seeing his physical response, his nodding, his listening, his deep presence was transformative and was healing and really did move the whole situation forward in a significant way. But for many survivors who, maybe watched it on TV, maybe didn't, maybe just read the CBC report, maybe think the apology was one sentence instead of really 4 paragraphs, 4 solid paragraphs where the Pope is talking about the past, colonization, Indigenous language, culture, spirituality, this very comprehensive statement that the Pope makes. If you only read the CBC, if you only read the headline, right, Pope apologizes for some Catholics, just not a very accurate reading. And maybe simply by not having that personal encounter with the Pope, but just having it mediated by a medium. It was varied, and you've seen that in the media. Of course, when the media wants to find somebody who says that apology didn't mean much to me, they will find somebody who will say that. But they didn't find someone who said that among those who were there. So that's a prelude to my request today, which is not worked out because we don't know when the Pope is coming exactly. We don't know where the Pope is coming exactly. But we know that the more that we can have either one of two things, I think, bring survivors, leaders of Indigenous communities, elders, knowledge keepers, right? Bring leaders within those communities to where he comes so that they can have a deeper encounter and experience. They can say, I was there, and that can have its transformative effect on the communities. Or if that doesn't happen, that we can host events in parishes or in communities near where there are First Nations communities, where we can bring people together, host them, be live stream connected, of course, on whatever big screen technology would be available to us. But they would not be getting the story from the radio and TV in short clips, which don't capture much and often capture a distorted way. But that they would be accompanied by us and the Catholic community as they participate in that event as able. We haven't thought this out in any detailed way. And perhaps if your convention was 6 weeks from now, it would be quite a specific proposal or set of ideas. But right now, it's to just put out the request that the Knights of Columbus, who are such a strong presence in the Catholic Church, who embody in some sense, in a very manly way, the tradition of the church and our upholding of that tradition, for your involvement in the papal visit, in some way accompanying Indigenous communities so that they can have that experience and encounter with the Pope, I think would be really powerful and really helpful in terms of building the kinds of relationships on the ground that help us to move forward from this situation. So that's the word that I have this morning. Happy to answer questions if you've got within the limits of what I know. But I'll say a word this evening, which will be a word of profound thanks and of happy anniversary and of, how much we appreciate you, how much we depend on you, how much we value you and working together. Those are more general comments, but I thought in this quieter and more confidential space, I would offer that update and that invitation to engagement in a way which will become hopefully clearer in the coming weeks. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Archbishop John, for your very meaningful, humble, and I speak for all the men in this room. The bishops are doing the best they can, and we realize you work hard. So I want to say thank you on behalf of the state board and the gentlemen in the room for your continued guidance and the good work that you do. Thank you.
Larry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I realize we have time to see Bishop said we could ask.
Yes, Bishop John, Archbishop John.
Bishop, thanks very much for your very honest, humble, but very clear description of the process. Our little council is very isolated from the First Nations community. We did have Myron Logan come and speak about what progress has been made in our diocese. When we're so isolated, from your experience, a little council that comes, and I can't imagine we're the only ones, what are simple little things we can do if we start the process of constructing and building those bridges you described so well? Thank you.
Thanks very much for the question. I think it's a question that we all ask in our own particular context. There's this big challenging situation out there, but what could we do in our community? It's different. If your community is 6 kilometers from a First Nations reserve, that's going to shape your answer. If you're far removed, that's going to shape your answer. I want to give that some thought. The bishops are going to put out some resources that will help people to find ways to be connected to the papal visit. Certainly there are educational materials that could create something for you to have educational events in your parish community, that the Knights could host in conjunction with the parish. There are good video resources. You may be too far to invite a speaker, but where it's possible to invite an elder or knowledge keeper or a survivor to come and share their experiences or talk a little bit about Indigenous culture. One of the things that the bishops have been pulling out is the ways in which the Vatican, popes, Vatican ambassadors to the Holy See and bishops' conferences have over the years said very positive things about Indigenous language, culture, traditions, even spirituality. But we don't know that. We don't know those things. And we have a fairly rudimentary understanding of what that would look like to say, well, Indigenous culture is very rich and we have things we could learn from. So to have a speaker come really opens the door to that possibility. If you're anywhere near, the Office of the Treaty Commissioner has speakers that they're ready to send out. And there'd be a little, a stipend involved, but they have some terrific speakers. And you get somebody like Lyndon Linklater to come in and give a talk. It's really outstanding. That's such a learning opportunity there. There are other resources and materials. So I would say look to the bishop's website in the coming weeks and see what might be out there that could be helpful to you locally. Thanks. If there's other questions, I'm happy to answer, and if not, I'm being brought to be with the good ladies.
Important words, and we as a body here and probably all men in the province with the Knights of Columbus look forward to further instruction and further information from you. We're only an email away. Thank you. I'll turn the mic back to Eugene. We'll do one more presentation and then we're going to break the talk.
I'd like to call on our worthy state Special Olympics chairman, Brother Terry Shelley, to come to the podium and give this presentation.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Terry.
I will try to be short because I know it's a long agenda today. Worthy State Chaplain, Reverend Bishops, Reverend Fathers, Supreme Guests, State Deputy and State Executive, and Brother Knights. Thank you for allowing me to present to the State Convention today. I only have two short items I'd like to speak about. First of all, Special Olympics. During the pandemic times, quite difficult running programs or fundraising in the Special Olympics. But with your support, Brother Knights, you seem to move on and are doing great things. As you see in my report on pages 116, 117 on the convention booklet, all the items are listed there that we have achieved together with Brother Knights and with athletes, coaches, volunteers. It's been trying, but again, it's been a very successful 2 years through the pandemic. I just wanted to mention that Special Olympics right now is going to be concentrating on unified sport programs for athletes in the communities and the local level. They wish to start up all their sport programs at the community level and not encountering any provincial games until a later date. Also, athletes are continuing to train for upcoming national and international events. I know that some of these summer athletes in the sports, track and field, even floor hockey, etc., are training for the international games, which are supposed to be hosted in Berlin, Germany in 2023. Again, thank you, Brother Knights, for your financial and volunteer support. During these last 2 years, the administrators of Saskatchewan Special Olympics, their coaches, their athletes, their volunteers are very grateful for all your support. And it's really much appreciated when I get big hugs from the athletes themselves, and I know it's going from me to all of you. So thank you once again. The second thing I'd like to speak about very quickly is the special project through the Bishop Luca Council 5914. On your tables, we have distributed to you some information on this. There's 2 pages. On there, it's on the 100-mile bicycle trek fundraiser for orphan children of Ukraine. As you saw last night, building on the legacy of Reverend Father Ivan Yakachowski, who you saw traveled over 2,000 kilometers last year in cooperation with the foundation to raise money for wheelchairs in Ukraine. We thought as a council to build on his legacy. I know he's going to be involved. I just talked to him the other day. He was involved in a little bike crash, but he's still going to do it. And we're going to have this two-day bike ride coming up on the May long weekend for 2 days from Regina to Moose Jaw and back. And we thought it was important, working with Father Ivan, with contacts we have on the ground, to work with the Sisters of St. Joseph's in Saskatoon, who are our main contact, who are our main correspondents with all the orphans that we are affiliated with in Ukraine and outside Ukraine. And there are many orphans right now that we are helping. So in doing so, we thought we'd just work with Father Ivan to provide financial assistance and care for all these orphans in and outside of Ukraine. So Brother Knights, all I ask you to please consider this request to support this worthwhile cause. I know there's other causes mentioned here with the Solidarity Fund, but as a council, we thought this is something we got to do, like you're doing with other projects in your councils, as really of immediate support, and we look for your participation if you can. If you have any questions in regards to this, please see me or our Grand Knight, Brother James Empey of Council 5914, who's right over there. We'll gladly assist you with that. I thank you again for your time, State Executive. If there's any questions. Okay. Thank you once again, and be to Jesus.
Thank you, Brother Terry. And now I'll turn the podium back over to our worthy State Secretary there.
All right, everyone, it's been a successful morning, and thanks for your patience. We're going to break for coffee. Or does it nobody want to keep going? Or we better break for coffee. We'll make a motion to recess for coffee. Davidson 5384. Seconder?
42.
How about Wayburn? 0123. What's your number again? 1731. All in favor? Looks like it. Half the people are gone.
Where did you go, Glenn? Say that again?
I think he turned the camera around.
Oh, that's what he did. How are you doing there, Peter?
Not too bad, you?
The only downfall about this virtual is we have nobody to talk to.
Well, you can talk to me.
I like this. I always like talking to you. Whenever I see you on virtual, like last night, that's what
Well, he's talking to Peter. It must
I'm
be
talking to Peter. I know I'm talking to Peter. Last night when everybody was talking and you and I were chatting, and that 450 is something that's going to stick for a long time, won't it?
Yeah. Do they still have that form?
Absolutely, and it's what we're doing with the cluster. We have exemplifications every last Monday of every month, and each DD takes their turn to be hosting. And when they host it, they're responsible for that 450.
Yeah. You keep telling them.
That's right. It's never forgotten for us in Saskatoon, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
So do you remember who was the second nomination for the warden? Or like Dale Meyer was the first or the second one. Who was the first one?
That has that happened already?
No, you must have been asleep.
I must have missed it. When did that happen? Was that before Greg? That was before Greg came on?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, I missed out on that.
That was
I'm sorry.
Chris Pencharski is the nominating committee.
Okay.
I didn't catch the first name.
Sorry. If I said it, would it ring a bell to you?
Maybe.
Well, I won't say it out loud in case there's some other guys on the. I'll send you a chat.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, because I heard of a name, and I think I know the guy. So I'll just send you that chat that I'm thinking of. Did you get it?
Yeah. Should I read it?
No, don't say it out loud. Yeah, read it, but don't say it out loud. Does that ring a bell?
I don't know. Do you know?
I heard that there was, it's Larry that told me this about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I can't remember where I saw him. Oh, I know. There was something going on at St. Pat's. There was the fish fry. And Larry was there, and Larry had mentioned that guy's name. And I said, I think I know him. So I don't know. I missed out on Chris Bajarski's form there, and I must have been sleeping because I was here.
Yeah.
And you say Dale Meyer was a possibility?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Was that enough porridge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's having porridge?
Somebody's having porridge.
I was just having a couple of ribs while the water's boiling.
Ribs?
Ribs.
Well, dry ribs.
Oh.
Okay. That's good.
It's nice to be able to talk without coughing, I must admit.
Oh, they're moving tables now.
Yeah, what the heck? That was the altar last night.
Oh.
And you said Pete Bricolo's not around or something?
Well, he's holding.
Oh, yeah.
So, so when I zoom out, so like here's, and what I'll do. So you're the only one.
But there'll be someone will bringing stuff over to me at times.
Okay.
That's all.
So what I'll do, this thing will also, like when you're in there, I can set it to track. So if you're moving around, it'll.
If you, well, actually, maybe just leave it like this.
It's not meant to be understood. I'll talk to Pete Bricolo about it. See if he can figure it out.
I'm going to kneel for a bit. Then I'm going to get up and go sit down. Then you can.
Well, I don't know what's wrong with this thing, though.
So you're saying you're sitting down, you're not going to be at the altar?
No. The monstrance will be at the altar. I say I won't. I'll be turning away from it.
Yeah. So yeah, when you're if there are other people coming in, I'll just switch over if I'm gonna.
I think all you have to worry about is back and forth.
Okay.
So like once the monstrance is exposed or the Eucharist is exposed, then that's the focus of everything. So yeah. Then after it's been exposed for a while, for about half an hour or so, then I'll come back and do some more prayers. You can just back up a bit. Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know. There must be somebody else they're talking about because it couldn't have been here because he said he got all the mics shut off though. Can't goddamn tick.
Maybe they do have the mics turned off on that end. Well, no, they don't have the mics turned off, but maybe they have the ability to receive a volume at the other end turned off.
There's our bishop.
Worthy State Deputy Joe, can you hear us? Guess that answers that.
I think that's our. Far away, can't talk. I think it's the bishop.
Because I can hear you, Pete. This is Keith, PD number 4. I think we can hear each other right now, but they can't hear us.
Hello, Keith. How are you doing?
Not too bad. And you, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm not really doing that well. I'm sicker than a dog, but thank God for virtual, because then I would have missed out on it completely.
Same. Actually, I've had a sinus infection for, I don't know, since Tuesday, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
And today's the first, I mean, this is the first chance I've had to actually speak for a few minutes without coughing. So
Right.
it's kind of, but yeah, but I'm glad I'm not there just for the same reasons as you. I'm sure you have something else.
Well, I thought I had COVID earlier on this week, and I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. There was 2 lines in my test, but it must have been a false positive, because the 2 mornings after that it was negative, but I was still sick.
Yeah. Well,
So I
hopefully
can't-
it's nothing. Hopefully it ends up not being anything serious. That's for sure.
Well, I did get COVID about 2 months ago, and it really wasn't serious at all. I just had to isolate myself, and that's what I was going to do in case this was COVID, because you can get it twice,
Well, yeah, and if you get it the second time, supposedly it's worse than getting it the first time.
Yeah, that's possible.
Prevention.
Yeah, it's different for everybody,
And that's why we're not gonna have mass on Sunday because of COVID though. Our mass has been canceled.
Yes.
in Weyburn.
Mass has been canceled? Oh, okay.
Went to church.
Not at the convention. It's not canceled. Like for tomorrow morning, I think it's
That's why I was,
the memorial mass will be on at when is memorial mass?
Oh yeah, okay. There's, I got
The memorial mass is supposed to be on at noon.
I wonder if anybody can hear me. I don't know. I don't know if anybody can hear me or not.
I can hear you, Pete.
We can hear you, Pete. We can hear each other. They can't hear us right now, and we can hear them. Obviously.
Is that me?
Yes. Hi, Pete.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I said, we can hear each other. We can hear them. We can talk to each other, but we can't talk to them.
Oh.
Please talk to the other person sitting at District 27's table. He would-
The only problem is.
I can hear you, Keith.
One bag of tickets and he doesn't want to
Yeah,
join.
the only problem is though, is that if they have enough noise in the background, they're drowning out us.
Because what's going on is our priest that comes in from the Weyburn at our Ukrainian church, and our priest got COVID though. That's why our mass has been canceled Saturday or Sunday.
Oh, okay. So it's, yeah, it's your particular church's mass has been canceled. Okay. Not at the convention.
So that's why I'm gonna have to watch the mass on here though, because we got no mass on Sunday. And I hope over by the time it comes to Mother's Day, because he only comes here twice a month from Regina, because he's got 5 parishes splitting up around the Momar district, plus he's one in Regina. So he's a busy man though.
Oh, geez, he would be. Well, there's a lot of very busy priests out there.
And we seem to be a lot short of priests than you guys in the Roman Catholic.
Yeah, I think it's a growing problem, and I don't know if it's being recognized maybe quite as much as it needs to be. Is that we do need, well, I think that's why they're prioritizing the funds for towards the vocation endowment, because they want to try and encourage more people.
Holy hour, holy 50
Oh yeah, because we're such a shortage of priests, even worse than you guys. Because we going.
For those who maybe haven't done this for a while, just, we'll have the exposition of the Blessed Sacrament. At the
Hey Pete,
altar.
we've been muted, just so you
There will
know.
be some incense, there will be, I'm guessing about 40, 50 minutes of just quiet time when you can spend some time in prayer with God, just quiet prayer with God. One of my favorite times.
Okay,
is
Pete,
quiet
they
time
muted us, so just so you know, you can't really be heard. I've unmuted myself just long enough so you can hear me though.
And just to spend some time with the presence of our Lord. One of the things that our Supreme Knight has been promoting very strongly is the regular adoration of benediction. And so if you aren't doing it at your council, we encourage you to be doing that and beginning to do that as well. We would, if you can, if you can kneel when I kneel. We don't have kneelers here, so if you wish to just sit through most of the quiet time, that's fine. And then we will have benediction. The instructions on what you have to say will be on the screen, I hope. Well, don't have it? Sorry. Jared? I'll send it to you. Very quickly? Sending it to Glenn. Okay. We won't need it right away. We will, if I could only remember what I was starting it with. So sacrament most holy, we'll begin with that. O sacrament most holy, O sacrament